UK taxpayers face a £15.5 billion asylum accommodation bill. What that means for us as property investors. So guys, the last video that I did on the Serco immigrant housing scheme that was aimed at us as landlords really had a lot of you talking. There were questions, heated debates, and I had a ton of DMs from all of you in my inbox. So I thought, let's dig deeper on this hot topic. These accommodation contracts are expected to cost us as a taxpayer approximately around £15.3 billion according to some sources. And guys, that is predicted over the next decade apparently. Yeah, you heard that right. Hi everyone, I'm Sabrina, and literally over the past 4 years I have been diving headfirst into the world of property investing for myself. I am literally an architectural designer over 20 plus years, so I finally branched out and started investing for myself. And I've done that by buying mainly mixed use properties and then converting them into residential. And guys, it's been a journey of learning, laughter and late night renovations. But today, while I'm filming this, I stumbled on some news which literally nearly made me spill my tea. These new asylum housing accommodation contracts are literally predicted to cost us as the UK taxpayer over £15.3 billion over the next decade. And guys, that's nearly triple the original estimate. So let's dive into what that means literally for us as smaller property investors. But first, let's get into this initial spend. So the £15.3 billion spend. So guys, what does this mean for the UK economy, for us as smaller investors? Let's deep dive into that. And also why us as smaller landlords and smaller property investors are literally watching this shift happen, and very closely watching this shift happen, I might say. So back in 2019, according to some sources, the Home Office estimated that they were going to originally spend approximately £4.5 billion over the next 10 years on asylum seekers. However, fast forward to today, and that figure has literally ballooned to £15.3 billion according to the National Audit Office. And sources say that this huge surge is mainly due to the huge surge in recent arrivals and also a reliance on hotels. So guys, let's actually discuss the Serco scheme. So Serco, a private contractor working on behalf of the Home Office, has actively been seeking out landlords, and they've been seeking them to actually lease properties to asylum seekers. And as discussed in my last video, they're literally providing contracts that will be giving landlords guaranteed rent for 5 years. Included in that as well, it'll be full maintenance of repairs or anything like that that goes off wrong with the property, and in some cases utility bills. And the initiative aims to reduce this over-reliance on hotels, which is more costly for the government. And I have my thoughts on that, which I've literally, as I've said already, I've discussed this in my last video. And to promote the scheme, Serco has also been reported to have held events for landlords, estate agents and property investors, people like this, to try and get them into this program. The aim of these events is to inform landlords of the scheme and to hopefully recruit them onto the program. So there is some concern from myself as well that this might incentivize landlords not to renew existing leases for current tenants that are currently sitting in these properties. You know, tenants that are hardworking UK citizens, there could be families, and this is all in order to participate in this scheme. So Serco could inadvertently incentivize landlords to do this, which could potentially lead to current tenants, which, as I've already said, could be families, hardworking UK citizens that have worked really, really hard. It could really lead to them being displaced and kicked out of their homes, basically. And that would be in favour to house the asylum seekers. So what I'm saying is that this could potentially incentivise landlords where the lease has come to an end, they might not renew it. And in that case, then the current tenant could be displaced. In my view, I think it is really morally irresponsible for those reasons that I've just outlined, as it could encourage and incentivise landlords to profit off of the back of obviously displacing these tenants. And I've made my thoughts on that quite clear in my other video. And that in itself could increase this growing pressure on existing local residents and tenants and that local community as well. And to me, it just literally just highlights the need for this deeper, wider conversation, how we sort of tackle the immigration as as a whole and as a country. So guys, what's my game plan? Well, moving forward, I'm going to stick to my original property plan, and that is literally to be purchase some of these commercial properties and then converting them into residential. Really trying to make sure that I rent responsibly and be a responsible landlord and a fair landlord to my existing tenants. And this is something that I advocate for on this channel. I just want that negative perception of landlords to change, and something like this really has the potential to skew everything, make us as landlords seem even more like how the press and the media make us out, that we're sort of greedy, money hungry and all of this lot, when nothing could be further from the truth. And I think as well, this could add to this wider conversation of how we actually tackle asylum accommodation moving forward. And for all of my fellow investors out there, it's really crucial for us to stay informed, stay on top of any planning or accommodation law or regulations and things like that, adapt to any policy changes, explore any avenues where we can contribute meaningfully, and make sure our ventures are viable. The last sort of big conversion that we did, we literally brought back to life an empty property. It was a mixed use property, and then we brought the downstairs into a residential as well, therefore adding to the housing pool. So I think conversions like that are probably going to be the way forward, so that we're literally adding, I know it's one step at a time, but adding back into that pool of rental properties for people to be able to rent, basically. So guys, what's your take on this? Have you been approached by Serco? If you have, put your experience and pop those in the comments below. Let's start a conversation. And guys, if you are actually wondering, right, Sabrina, how do I actually practically go about doing this renovation and actually attacking this project? Well, watch this playlist next where I do just that. Thanks guys, bye.